You look at the big three. Randle had 24. Jalen Brunson played every single second.
Amazing game.
Quentin Grimes played every single second. Brunson again with 38 points, and the Knicks survive. And, you know, Alan, you look at the way this game unfolded. The first quarter, Knicks commit 7 turnovers.
Yeah.
They score 14 points. Miami, of the 24 points, 13 were second chance points of the 24. It looks like it was a complete continuation of what happened in game number 4, and yet the Knicks were able to bounce back. 18-2 run to start the second quarter, probably the key sequence of the entire game.
Yeah. Before we get to that, though, let's just point out a couple of things that R.J. Barrett said that it's something that can be done, meaning coming back from 3-1.
13 times.
And then he said 13 times.
Yes, I loved that. I caught that too.
Pretty clear that there's an understanding about that they put their little homework in on, you know what, we can do this.
It's at a 277, I think, or something.
I don't care about that number, all right? The number that matters is that 13 times a team has come back to win the series, and they have that mindset. They have that in their mind. That's very important, just to point that part out. Jalen Brunson playing 48 minutes, he had 1 turnover. And he had the ball in his hand all the time. Now, getting to what you were talking about, which is that key sequence in the second quarter where it did feel like, oh, no, the Knicks just don't look like they have it, and the Heat have it going. There are only 18 points in that first quarter, in the first quarter, or 14 points in the first quarter. They had 14 points in the first 3 minutes, and it was Obi Toppin who came in the game. We didn't see him the rest of the game, but Obi had a huge impact on this just by getting up and down the floor. He also got 5 rebounds in that, and then the 3 ball started going down. You see R.J. Barrett knock that one down. Monica, it feels like just things started opening up because they started playing more open, getting up and down the floor, high energy.
Yeah, and I would also add to that, I liked this team's defensive effort tonight far better than I have in the last 2 games, right? Like, they did a better job of closing out. Duncan Robinson still hit some wild shots, but it was so much more energy on both sides of the court. That one, while that's a 3, I would consider that an easy 3 in transition. They did a much better job of pushing the ball up the floor because we see that it is a tough day at the office to come down and set up in the half-court set. I think early in the ballgame in that first quarter, Quentin hit 1 for sure. He might have hit 2 on that wing on some transition/semi-transition. And you could see, all right, the lid's off the basket. We got a little bit of confidence. We're going to find our way back to the basket, or into the basket, I should say, from behind the three-point line. And like you said, it opens other things up.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, Obi comes in, Randle goes to the bench in that sequence to start the quarter. But Obi being in just kind of picked up the pace a little bit. Get the dunk, you get the crowd going, but it just seemed like they played a little bit faster, and that allowed them to get into a rhythm that they were able to hold for most of the rest of the game.
Yeah, and give credit to Tibbs on that a ton. Like, yes, Julius is your 3rd-team All-NBA, but it wasn't working. It just wasn't working well in that first quarter. He was struggling to find a rhythm. You could see the team sort of in a tenuous situation waiting for him to find his rhythm. So you open it up. You see that the ball's going into the basket. There's a little bit more psyche. I actually really like the way that Obi came in and rebounded. Like, he's not a guy that we celebrate typically for his defensive effort, but he was alert in terms of getting to the glass. You saw him use that long frame to sky high for some rebounds. And all of these things are bringing energy back to this unit. Yeah. And so then that, to me, to your point, is the run that kind of turns the tide, and you can see this team rolling with more confidence over the course of the ballgame.
Amazing how this game went. Second and third quarter, Knicks outscored the Heat 70-50. At one point, the lead was 19 in the third quarter. But then, Monica, the Knicks had to hang on for dear life in the final quarter to win the game.
As you should. I mean, there's a few turnovers you want to take back over the course of that, giving up that lead. But we've seen leads of this magnitude come and go throughout the course of this NBA season. And the playoffs proved to be no different, particularly when Jimmy Butler is your opponent. But they started to get downhill. Mitchell Robinson gets some key high-percentage shots. And this is what we're talking about in terms of some of that defensive effort, right? Bam Adebayo was terrific in this ballgame, but that's not an easy shot. He's got to account for the length of Mitchell Robinson contesting at 7 feet here. And then this, we've seen the Heat do this, right? This penetration, they're finding their shooters. And yes, Duncan Robinson got some clean looks, but I don't think he got as many open ones as he's gotten previously. And of course, Jalen Brunson absolutely refusing to die, understanding the pressure of an elimination game. Isaiah Hartenstein selling out there. I was so glad that there was no whistle, because that was perfect defense in terms of contesting a very tough shot maker. Again, more from Jimmy Butler, which you expect, right? That made it a 3-point game. You expect that from him. And then RJ, this was the huge play he just talked to us about. End of the shot clock. He gets that shot off just in time. Isaiah Hartenstein with a huge putback. Here come the Heat. Great defense there in terms of selling out, but we'll keep that nameless. And shout out to Mitchell Robinson. Missed that one, but he hit some big ones.
4 out of 6. 4 out of 6 for Mitch in the fourth quarter.
4 out of 6.
And Julius there with the hustle play to get that rebound.
That's what we need.
To kind of put it away. It's funny.
I mean, Hack and Mitch didn't work. Hey, all kidding aside, Hack and Mitch didn't work.
No, Mitch did what he had to do when it mattered most, which is make the free throws, which, again, this is what we were talking about when it comes to your main guys are going to lead the way here, but you needed everyone to do a little something in this game. We mentioned Obi. Yeah. He brought a little something to this game. Everybody that got on the floor did a little something in this game to help this team win, and that's what you need in an elimination game. You can't have guys coming in and they're not on the bus. Everybody had to be on the bus in this game, and you had that. And you know, the RJ layup you're talking about, that was going to be a broken play. Shot clock's winding down. Julius Randle got into the corner, had nowhere to go. Gives it to RJ. He wanted it back, and RJ's like, oh, no, I got this. Going to the basket, draws 2 defenders. Bam decides to help. Fateful decision, because that leaves Isaiah Hartenstein available to dunk back that rebound.
Put the Knicks up by 4. Put the Knicks up by 4.
Right, but that works out because of Barrett's aggressive nature. Sees the shot clock winding down and doesn't settle for a jumper, takes it to the rack, decides I'm either going to take contact or I'm going to get a finish here, and it turned out to be a great play.
Terrific. I mean, that's just gritty. And when we watched the sound pregame from RJ, there was something. There was something in his eye about understanding the magnitude of competing. He used that word compete pregame, and he came and he did that tonight.
RJ's last 8 games, averaging over 22 a game.
He's showing us he's a gamer.
And he's shooting over 50% from the floor. The efficiency.
I'd like to get it without your back against the wall, but sure.
No, but in the last 8 games, Monica, his efficiency has been way up.
Since about game 3 of the first round.
Of the first round, for sure.
Forget the first 2 games against Cleveland. Ever since he has been at an all-star level.
It's good to see.
How about that? Exciting, to say the least, huh?
Wow, what a game. What a performance by Jalen Brunson. He just would not let the Knicks lose this basketball game. Quentin Grimes' defense, absolutely outstanding. Made key shots in that first half. Really found his game. That's a great sign. That's just a gritty win, and that's all you can do in the playoffs. You just extend. You put the pressure on Miami on their home floor. Miami came back to reality a little bit, starting 4 for 26 from the three-point line. We were waiting. 27th ranked three-point shooting team in the league in the regular season. Where was that team? And then they turned back into the playoff Miami, where they didn't miss in the fourth quarter. But how about Mitchell Robinson making those free throws? I have never heard a louder ovation in an arena for made free throws than I did. I had to take my headset off. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Mitchell Robinson stepped up big. That's just a great win for this franchise, great win for this team. And let's go down to Miami and get a win on Friday.
Yeah, Friday night in Miami. And again, as I talk about how many New Yorkers will be down there for that game, right? But in the building, it's hard not to notice the Knick alum that were there. John Starks looked like he wanted to put a uniform on and get out there and defend Kyle Lowry a couple of times. Like, did he not? Like, he was grabbing Knick players, like, in their ear, like, talking to them, like, giving them pointers and stuff. Like, John was so into the game. It was as if he was, get my jersey, get my jersey. I'm guarding Jimmy Buckets. Like, get me out here.
That's what that arena does.
Yeah.
The electricity.
Yeah.
I mean, the adrenaline that you get, it's just a high that as an athlete, it's just the best feeling possible. When you have 20,000 people screaming their lungs out, just supporting you at the highest level. And for the Knicks team, it just gave me chills at times during this game. It's just what sports is all about. It encompassed it today in this game. And what a win, what a series. Here we go, Game 6. Let's go.
Get it. Let's get it.
And let us give Jalen Brunson, I don't know how to verbalize.
Whatever he needs.
I don't know how to verbalize. I mean, again, he played every single second of the game. No Emmanuel Quickly. Deuce McBride, limited minutes. Evan Fournier, ill, not able to play.
Limited means 30 seconds.
Right. Good point. Good point. Yeah, 31 seconds for Deuce McBride. That was the limit. Jalen Brunson, Allen, 38 points, 7 assists, 9 rebounds, 48 minutes of playing time, and 1 turnover.
Yeah. Wow. That's the key.
I mean, this ranks, when you look at history.
In a game where the team had 19 turnovers.
That's crazy.
He had 1, and he had the ball in his hands more than anybody.
This has to go down
got 18.
in the annals of best Knick playoff performances ever.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
First of all, top 5.
First of all,
it's even though it's second round.
It's his best as a Knick in this season. He's had some great performances this season. This is his best game as a Knick. And can we all agree that he is the best player in the NBA, not named to an all-star team or all-NBA team?
Are you kidding me? He got robbed.
The best player in the league, not named to an all-star or all-NBA team, right? The way he performed in this game, you talk about gamers. You talk about a guy that said before the game to Tom Thibodeau, I'm starting the game, and you're not taking me out. I'm going the distance. And then Quentin Grimes said, I'll do it with you. And the two of them were there. And Brunson has been taking a beating this whole series, but he just keeps coming back for more. And that's what you love about guys like this. He's a fighter. He's the exact personality this team has needed, this franchise has needed in a long time. And he is the leader on the floor that they needed desperately in a save your season performance on your home floor. And it is again, something to build off of now as they go on the road and try to extend this thing to bring it back to the Garden Monday for a Game 7.
Yeah. How do you not get tired, Wally? Given the intensity.
It's game time.
No, 48 minutes, though, and to still have enough gas in the tank, not come out at all?
You'll feel it here tomorrow. All right. You don't feel it.
He might feel it now.
Now. Maybe now it's starting to kick in.
Yeah,
but when that adrenaline is cranking, you do not feel anything. You don't feel pain. You don't feel like angst. You don't feel doubt. Like when you are in that mode, you are just in the zone. You are in playoff mode. You're in the zone mode. You're in do whatever it takes to win mode.
And he said it pregame. Yeah. He said there are going to be nerves. You might feel anxious, but it's an elimination game. And so that trumps all. And so how adorable of you to ask about that, Pito. Hey, wait am I trying to hear about being tired? It's an elimination game.
Remember, this is also a guy that was a key piece of a team that went to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
As a bit of a surprise team that went into Phoenix in a Game 7 and blew the doors off that team. You know, this is a guy that has already, just a year ago, watched Luka Doncic do what he's doing now for his team in this game. He watched Luka carry that Mavs team on several occasions, so he knows what it takes in the playoffs to do that, and he's doing it now for the Knicks.
And don't forget, he did it without Luka.
Before Luka
when Luka got injured in that first round. So, listen, Jalen understands the moment, both as an individual player and as a leader. At no point tonight, to me, did he seem rushed. He handled the double teams when they were coming in between that space between the three-point line and the half court well. I saw him talking to his teammates every now and again. Of course, there's a few fouls that left us scratching our head, and he had to have appropriate conversations with the officials. But in terms of poise, understanding the moment, there's always such a fine line between urgent and getting a little out of control and out of character. And to me, Jalen knows exactly where that line is. You could trust him not to cross it in a negative way, and he played terrific tonight. And then it was contagious for Quentin Grimes. Though you don't look at Quentin Grimes for the type of scoring and the type of playmaking that you do for Jalen Brunson, Quentin, in the last 90 seconds, to hyperextend your knee and then steal the ball from Jimmy Butler, all in the same sequence while you're barely walking on two legs, like that is just a will to win and to make it happen. And kudos to all the guys tonight, but those two in particular.
Very interesting dynamic here, guys, with the lineup. Grimes plays every single second. Josh Hart had some foul trouble, played only 9 minutes. And for the second straight game, Wally, Hart has been so important and so effective, really hasn't made that vital a contribution here in the last couple of games. Grimes is now healthy. Interesting shift here in the lineup.
Yeah, and Grimes does a really good job with his size on Jimmy Butler. I think he bothers Jimmy Butler a little bit more because he has a little bit more length. He can match up as far as the strength. Also, Josh Hart can match up with the strength also. But I think Josh Hart will find his game. I mean, he's got to find his game for this Knicks team in Game 6. Josh Hart doesn't go a couple games in a row with not playing well. He's got to trust his shot too. He's turning down those open threes. Start with working on that open three, knock them down. The rest of his game will come.